Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Front Nine coverage of Round 1 of the 2019 Mid-America Open, presented by Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by Nate Perkins. How's it going, Nate?
It's going great, man. Another GK Pro production coming at you.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be an awesome round to watch. We're watching these players play on the famed Harmony Bends course in Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah, it's currently in the top 5 on Disc Golf Course Review. I've heard nothing but great things about this property.
And I can't wait to watch this. This is actually my top favorite course that I've ever played. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it is a beautiful wooded course, very fair and extremely challenging even for the best players in the world.
And I'm just stoked to watch Nikko Locastro. I mean, we don't see him really play too much
He has
anymore.
been on a bit of a hiatus, and for those who are newer to watching disc golf, this was a former #1 player in the world that I think has one of the craziest shot-shaping games with a backhand that I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And super unique shapes, too. Really overstable anhyzers to flex shots. I'm really interested to see how he competes with these younger cats.
Absolutely. And getting into hole 1, they do not let up right from the get-go. Hole number 1 is a par 5, 833 feet. There's a creek right off the bat. You have to blast a shot over the creek or lay up short. But if you want the birdie, it's very, very crucial that you push one as far as you can. And then as you can see, the creek does not let up, and there's multiple landing zones to get to the basket. A 4 on this hole is a very solid score.
Yeah, hole 1 was playing .65 over par.
Not surprising whatsoever.
Yeah.
And teeing off first.
It's not very often that we start
his 400th
a course
PDGA
with a par 5.
Absolutely not. And you'll notice how fair these lines are. That's a John Hauk specialty with his course design. He's very meticulous on the shapes and the landing zones that he wants the players to be hitting. So here is Nikko, hole 1. I'm assuming he's going to throw exactly what you were mentioning earlier, some sort of overstable flex shot. But again, he's capable of throwing really anything. So.
Yeah, we might see him throw a few rollers today.
And he did actually go with a bit of a hyzer flip to flat. That is a beautiful shot. Anything that gets across that creek in the middle is a very solid start. We now have Trevor Harbolt from Kentucky, Team Discraft member, who actually just popped off his best career finish with a 4th place finish at Idlewild. So clearly no stranger to the woods, and he is a big hyzer flip thrower.
Absolutely. He loves the crank. Yeah, he really
loves the crank, loves the mantis. You'll see a lot of really interesting shots from Trevor as well.
Yeah, he's actually throwing his Zeus right here, Proto Zeus. Man, those sure do fly great, though. Just
medium stability, slow hyzer flip if they're thrown hard.
It's a 12 speed?
It's a 12 speed. It's for the Discraft lineup, it's about, I would say, just a hair less stable than a force. And now we have Andrew Presnell, another Team Discraft member on the elite team. Make sure you grab a Tour Series drone with his name on it. And he has a very unique play style. It's sometimes difficult to pin down. He throws a lot of interesting discs. He has some discs like his drone that are so beat up that he can throw them as far as a driver. So we'll see what he does out here.
And Andrew's another player that really demonstrates how important the footwork is to the game. His upper body does do some funny stuff, but his footwork is excellent.
Yes, he is a fantastic athlete. Used to be a
soccer player, I believe.
Yeah, very high-level soccer player, so his footwork is definitely dialed in. And then the last player that we have on this is a Iowa local. This is Jacob Sanders on Team MVP. He is a fantastic thrower, and he's just coming up in the sport. I believe he hit the scratch rating mark, I think, last season. So he definitely is popping off this year.
He throws hard.
Very hard, very far. And I think he was, despite saying that he throws hard, I think he was laying up with a mid-range. So
yeah, that's a vector from MVP.
And I think it's a little bit too short to attack the green. Not entirely sure from this camera angle. He does have a look, but there is a creek right in front of that basket as well.
Nice placement shot.
And this is really all you're trying to do off for that second shot. Is just put it a little bit more forward, give yourself some sort of look at the basket.
So Andrew got a line on it right here.
I think this is the magic drone. The drone is one of the most overstable discs that Discraft makes, and Andrew has beat one into oblivion to where it flies like a understable driver at times.
Yeah, it looks like he's found himself in a pretty good position.
And Jacob is just kind of chucking along the fairway and playing for a stress-free par, I believe. And you can tell Nikko loves that over. Oh, a little bit unfortunate right off the lip of that cliff, but I think he still should be safe.
So that cliff is safe right there?
I believe it is.
It kind of looks like it's marked.
Didn't see any sort of OB indicator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jacob's going to be putting with the anode today.
I believe that's a straighter putter from the MVP lineup. Oh, Trevor gives it a run from the base of the hill. Not too shabby, but again, a safer play in this hole.
Oh wow, that was funky looking off the cage. But definitely pay attention to Andrew's putting style throughout the round.
Very unique, very low release.
Yeah.
And Nikko was safe from there. Ended up taking a nice par. Or actually,
so he must have been OB then, and then he got the spot right then. If he's tapping in the par,
must have. Yeah. So the flags were not circle one. The flags were out of bounds.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty tough approach right there on that first hole.
Very tough, and that's why you saw some of the players in that card going with some more slower discs and trying to play for just a safe 5. And like you said, a par on that hole is saving you strokes in the field.
Yeah.
Hole number 2 is another really technical par 4. As you can see, we're snaking down this tight fairway up a hill slightly, and then it's bending down to the right the entire way. So you really want to put whatever disc you can, I would say 300 to 350 feet down the fairway straight to give yourself some sort of look at this basket. What a picturesque par 4.
Wow, no kidding. And this one played a full stroke over par.
Yeah, there is a shorter position that has been played in the past, but this is about 100 feet farther than the normal position, and there's OB all down the right side.
And it slopes directly toward that OB, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with that said, you might see some more aggressive tee shots like Nikko going roller.
So this is a beat-up Wraith that he's rolling. And Nikko's actually going full-on mixed bag. Not too many players out there on the circuit going mixed bag.
No, and it's really fun to see the stuff that he's throwing because, he's represented just about every company on the planet.
Yeah.
He has been around for a long, long time. Trevor almost getting over that hill, but a little bit of a cut roll to the left. He'll probably be laying up for a par from there.
Ooh, that was a flippy disc.
That was either a Heat or an Avenger SS, I believe. And that was pretty good. That was solid. It's so tight on this fairway that placement is so much more important than distance.
And that was an Avenger SS that Andrew threw.
It's usually the Discraft lineup, one of those 2 discs that the pro players are rolling. Jacob actually pushing way down that fairway with a sidearm, which I do like.
Trevor almost hit that line.
A little bit of pinball.
Bit off.
Yeah.
And that's pushing forward.
That's a great shot from Jacob.
Very nice shot.
And this is about prime positioning for a birdie, and he smoked this thing.
Look at this. Just a beeline. It's got to have a soft
reaction.
reaction.
Oh, my gosh. That was flawless.
In the bullseye.
I believe that was a Mantis that he threw there.
It's actually a tracker from Andrew.
A tracker. Okay, a little bit more stable than a Mantis.
Yeah, it did have some movement.
Little bit of movement, and he does throw a lot of like seasoned discs that I've noticed, and throws them clearly very well.
Yeah, so this is actually a Cenis from Nikko.
That's a disc he's had for a long time.
Yeah.
He loves throwing the Cenis. I think it's a kind of a glideless putter.
Yeah, it's got like a little thumb track
Yeah,
kind of
yep.
deal on it too. Oh, and that was a great double kick right there. That looked like it was kicking out of bounds.
Yeah, this hole is, especially with this pin position, this is brutal. Players are happy to just be taken apart on this one.
And there's that famed the step with
Step
Trevor.
with Trevor, step putt. Almost caged it. Nikko from about 25.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but this is definitely his most difficult distance. That's the distance that we've seen Nikko struggle with over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yes, and 4 or 5 years is correct because for a time, he was hands down the best putter in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was player of the year for 3 years in a row.
Yeah, so if, for those of you who have not watched any old footage of Nikko when he was on top,
2009,
it's extremely
2010.
impressive. And that was right when, disc golf post-production coverage was starting to take off. And
Yeah.
there are definitely some videos of him out there. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and you can still see the influence today. I mean, we just commentated on GK Pro's coverage from Idlewild, and Kevin Jones had mentioned that he's modeling his putt off of watching
Yep.
those same videos from Nikko in 2009 and 2010. So pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's fun to see some veterans of the game playing with some newer players. And after a pretty wide spread of scores on hole number 2, we are moving into hole number 3, which is a bit of a shorter hole, but still no joke of a hole. 262 feet. It kind of snakes a little bit through these woods, and then over the crest of the hill, you're going to see a basket right down there. Players are going to be throwing a lot of flex shots.
Yeah, when the drone is flying this slow that it's a pretty tight hole.
Very, very tight, and I believe that the pin position, again, has moved back from where it usually is. Catches a late tree. I think that was a soft X zone, but still not too bad. As you can see, there are a lot of trees in this fairway, so sometimes inevitable to be hitting one. And then Nikko also catches one. Still not too bad.
Yeah, they're going to have a couple long looks.
Jacob's throw is really almost robotic and very, very clean. It's almost like he programs the angle right from the start and
nice
follows through right in that line. Very nice shot from Jacob.
Yeah, he's definitely got the backhand stroke figured out.
Very clean. And it looks like all of our players do have a look at the basket.
Yeah, you can tell how severe that slope. I mean, he
knew
it. He laid that one up, and he still got a little trickle down to 18 feet. Trevor's going to go and stuff this one in. That is such a controversial putt right there. Just the way that he steps forward and the weight's his foot's an inch off the ground. It's so difficult, Brian, because these players they're the officials. So there's the ones that have to say yes or no every time he does step like that. It's interesting.
It is definitely an interesting putt, but as of right now, it's a legal play. And we're seeing some players kind of struggle in this one and miss a couple putts short. Andrew cashes his comebacker after kind of rolling away a little bit. A lot of times in those step putts, it's really too close to tell. And, unless you have video coverage to watch it over and over again, it's one of those things where unless you see a huge stance violation, it's hard to make the call.
It is. And
especially as it being a self-officiated sport.
Exactly,
so,
because it's never personal.
No. Hole number 4, par 3, 288 feet, but it plays very downhill with a sloping left fairway and still pretty tight tunnel. You're going to see some pretty understable discs, I think, being thrown here. Anything that gets away from you is just going to fade out to the right. I believe this is a focus that he's throwing.
Yeah, you're correct. This is a jawbreaker focus. And as short as this hole is, hole 4 also played over par.
Yeah, it's the shape of this hole. You have to throw a hyzer in it. This is exactly what you need to throw here. Push the disc hyzer initially with something understable just to match the initial angle of the hole, but then as it fades down that elevation, you have to eventually get the disc nose down, just like Nikko did.
Yeah, beautiful shot from Locastro.
And Jacob, trying to take a similar route, goes a little bit more turned over and still...
Look at this that he's lining up. That is a overhand putter shot off the tee.
You know, I actually don't mind that at all. I like the idea of just trying to get the disc to hit ground as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that green disc needs to go in timeout. 2 holes in a row, it's rolled away when it's not supposed to.
Oh,
my
wow. And he
gosh.
sinks it.
Step with Trevor.
Look at that. Back
Kobe.
right pocket. He loves it.
That's the play in the whole tomahawk putter, 50-footer.
Oh, and really nice putt from Andrew. And you had mentioned it before how low his putts are coming out. I mean, that putt was below the cage and rose just above the cage before it made it.
Jake with a slightly early release, and I'm not sure if there are any, lead card jitters that he has. Not sure how many feature cards he has been on, but let go of that one a little bit too early. He's going to have to tap in for a par.
Solid birdie from Nikko.
Yeah, that shot he threw off the tee. I wish that had a follow flight to show exactly how many angles that disc actually had. Hyzer, flat, drift right, flatten. Fantastic shot.
Multi-angle
multi-angle shot.
About.
Not just a flex. It's got multiple. Anyway, moving into hole 5. Par 4, this one goes straight up the hill. You have to blast a distance driver, and if you really want the birdie, you want to get as far up there and to the right as possible, because then we're snaking back down the hill to the left to see the basket here. Very challenging pin position that they've chosen for the players. Really forcing an aggressive tee shot.
That's a beautiful flex shot.
Yeah, that's about what you want there, folks.
Prime position. Look at that thing turn over. Oh, gets a little love.
A little bit of tree love, and he's right pretty much up there where Nikko is. Great shot from Trevor.
Yeah, that was that Big Z crank.
Yes, that's definitely his favorite distance driver.
This is a force from Andrew.
Ooh,
and that gets
another one
way up there.
Yeah.
Sneaks a little bit on the right
Long
side,
hyzer
but he's
flip.
on the dance floor.
And that's what I love about this course. It makes you throw a lot of distance drivers on these types of shots, but you have to be precise about the angle, which I think is so crucial for designing a championship caliber wooded course. He was trying to go, looked like he was trying to go some sort of roller or tomahawk, but I think he rolled in the wrong direction.
Kind of looked like the PD I gave him pretty recently. Oh, and he just parks it.
Okay, you must put a little bit of magic into that disc before giving it to it, because that was a beautiful sidearm.
Just a little wide from Trevor.
A little bit wide. I thought it was going to have the flex that it needed, but a little bit too early.
This is a Buzz SS. It's going to be Circle's Edge.
Yeah, decent. 30, 35 feet. Trevor kind of in jail there. That putt's kind of difficult to run, so he'll just have to settle for a par. There
All right.
it is.
Walks that one in there.
Always feels good to get a nice circle 2 putt after missing one from inside circle 1.
And GK Pro did want to apologize for missing a couple of Jacob's shot. He's known as being a little bit faster of a player, so he He's going to walk up to a
Snuck
couple.
by him.
Yeah, he's going to walk up to a couple of these shots and just kind of throw them. So we would like to apologize to the viewers for that.
And great putts by Presnell and Nikko. That's a great birdie to get, especially at that pin position.
Yeah, I'm 2 down through 5 on all first 5 holes. All play over par.
Yeah, super solid spread on that hole. Hole number 6, par 3, 331 feet. This one is a subtle bender to the left. As you can see by the drone's flight here, we have this tight gap, and you can't just throw something overstable on this shot. You have to push a hyzer forward towards this dead tree with something medium to understable, and the basket's going to be tucked right back here. I love this hole. I love what the designer is forcing the players to have to throw.
Yeah, so when you throw an overstable disc, it likes to get to the ground quicker. So you're saying that you want to throw a more understable, hit it on hyzer still, but when it rounds that corner,
it starts flipping up to flat.
Flipping up to flat, and it wants to stay in the air still.
Exactly. So Nikko did play the overstable shot, but he had to play a flare to get to the basket. So if you are going to chance the ground play, overstable disc is fine. But I love that this hole makes you play options. I think he goes with a Raptor here.
Yeah, he's just outside of circle 1, 40 feet left. Oh, Trevor ripped that one. It definitely looked like he went with something stable, but you're not quite gonna get the park job on that line.
No, and that's the thing. The disc is not quite shaped, or the hole is not quite shaped for overstability. You can give yourself a putt with that type of shot, but if you want to get parked, you have to throw something a little bit flippier. But with how good of putting, these players have, really giving yourself an opportunity is more important.
And if you guys ever wondered what the deal is with the fanning that's going on the tee pad, because I know I wondered, it's actually a grip thing. It's not to look at this. Oh,
okay. He had perfect grip on that one.
He sure did.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, when you see Jacob fanning his throwing hand with his opposite hand, that's not to look cool on the pad. That's to help him with his grip.
Yeah, cooling the hands off, getting some sweat off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also just nice, I guess it's like a meditative kind of thing, like a routine.
Yeah, definitely a routine-based. Oh, sweet putt from Nikko.
Nice putt from Nikko for sure. It's not an easy hole to get, and you could tell he played a pretty big flare, and he was still circle 2. Andrew's going to tap in for the par, as well as Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, even this is 330 feet. It played a third of a stroke over par.
Mm-hmm.
There's only...
If you hit early on a lot of these holes, you are scrambling to save that par.
Yeah.
Hole number 7, par 3, 510 feet, but very reachable off the tee if you can throw straight and far. This hole is beautiful. I love the fact that the designer is letting the players now play with elevation after all sorts of wooded shot shaping. We just get to pump one out there into the open.
Pretty downhill too.
And it looks like the basket this year is pushed back into the right, so we're going to see some players have to flip something up flat and then drift it off to the right. So very, very tough shot here.
Oh, and that's really early.
Really, really early. He's just going to have to pop one out into the open on that second shot. And I think that is the magic drone.
Really? Just playing this one for par, huh?
Yeah, I mean, with how tight that gap is, too, I think, whatever your bread and butter is to get it out in the open is what you should be doing. And clearly for Trevor, that's the crank. Nice and low and safe. I think that's the name of the game out here.
Par does not look so bad.
No.
Especially after watching one of your competitors hit the first available.
Gorgeous hyzer flip from Jacob. Yeah, I think the general consensus on this card is just 3 is good, and the optimal shot to actually to this hole seems a little bit too hard to execute in the moment.
And nice idea from Nikko with the forehand, just a little too turned over. He's got 70 or 80 feet left to try and save a par. Drone or zone?
He likes throwing the soft X zones, but again, I've seen him reach for that yellow drone more times than not, so couldn't quite tell on that one.
Yeah, he teed off with drone, upshot with a soft zone.
Aha, he clubbed down a bit.
Just such a great mid lineup.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Every company needs a zone, Brian.
Yeah, glideless, stable to overstable, putter mid-range hybrid. Every pro from the Discraft lineup pretty much has one in the bag.
Is that your signature disc this year?
That is my signature disc. The zone. It's my favorite disc there is.
Awesome.
Shameless plug. Trevor taps in for a par. Gets out of that hole unscathed, taking the 3 in the hole. Hole number 8, par 3. The players get to take a bit of a break from the daunting shot shaping, and they actually get a shot at an ace run.
Yeah, this is the first hole on the course during round 1 that played under par. This played half a stroke under par. Looks like there is some danger, some OB short if you don't quite make it all the way up the hill.
Yep, it's just hit the line with your bread and butter, and whatever you can get up there, really, you have a backstop behind the basket.
Yeah, and Andrew actually didn't take that one right at the pin. He took it to the right.
And definitely,
like that play.
Yeah, definitely a safer play. You can come in sideways so you don't, potentially have some bad ground play. Ah, he squares it.
It looks like he went back safe, actually, just short of the creek.
That is definitely a relief. Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Okay.
Again, just a little low on 6, or a little high on 6 and a little low here on 8.
He throws those laser beam hyzer flips. Really, really enjoyable to watch.
This is also online.
That's about as online as you can get.
Yeah. Again, with the overhand putter, that's just not a very...
It's not
just
common.
Actually haven't seen that in a long time, if ever.
Sweet. It's a sweet
overhand
shot
putter
selection.
shot.
Love
yeah.
it. Jacob taps in for a birdie from about 20.
And check this out. Check how low he's going to start this. He starts it from like below his waist. And there's not a lot of players that hit the basket with a rising putt.
Yeah.
Most players are kind of dropping it in like a basketball, like just dropping it down in the cage.
He is every bit of a push putter, almost like a scoop putter.
Putt's fast though,
Yeah. Definitely puts a lot of pace in the putt. Nice spread of scores there from the players. We're going to move into hole number 9. Par 5, 684 feet. This hole is kind of tricky off the tee. You want to push one far and straight with a tiny bit of fade to the left. So again, whatever you can get out into the open, now we have a double fairway to work with. So the right gap is a little bit more open, but if you do find yourself in a bad position, the left gap does give you some sort of route to the basket. But as you can see, on the second shot, taking that right gap is going to give you a bit more of a direct spot to the basket. So threes are definitely gettable out here.
Yeah, that's that classic Hauk design where there is a dual fairway, but a lot of the times one of them is kind of a deceiving fairway, and it's not really the way you want to go.
It's more of like a scramble opportunity.
Nice.
And he loves, making sure the rough is playable. He loves making sure that the trees just serve as bunkers and not jail. And that's about how you want to chalk it up right there. Subtle hyzer with a driver, and now he has a route through that right gap.
It's super refreshing as just a fan of disc golf to watch this placement golf through the woods.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a hard balancing act as a designer for sure. Jacob accidentally yanks his hyzer flip to the right. Instead of pushing it forward, he's going to have to get up from the bottom of that hill.
I think Nico's throwing a Spirit right here.
Which is a very overstable disc from Gateway, actually. And that is maybe a more seasoned Spirit than...
Yeah, the Spirit's that super pop top overstable mold, right?
Some are, and some come out looking like dinner plates, and they're all very overstable. Trevor going through the middle gap with a crank and pretty decent positioning. And for those of you who actually don't know, after watching that beautiful sidearm go through that left gap, Nikko's uncle is Dave McCormick, who is the owner of Gateway, so the maker of the Wizard and whatnot. So that's why you'll see some various Gateway plastic in his bag. And he used to actually throw a mainly Gateway bag.
Yeah, and he is putting with the Wizard right now.
Yes.
Which I was putting with the Wizard for a few years before I was sponsored by Discmania, and it's
great
a
putter.
Good putter, yeah. And it's still one of the more popular putter molds.
Absolutely. A little bit of a roll away on that last shot. Still a scramble opportunity. Trevor's going to get aggressive on the second one through the left gap. Oh my gosh! And
it's so special to see a player throw that hard through the woods like that.
Oh yeah, taking one out of the Paul Ulibarri handbook, chucking as hard as you can, no fear. And that's a good shot. And I think he clipped one of those trees early.
Man, these players are finding some trouble here on hole 9.
If you are any bit off the fairway on this hole, it is a very challenging task to get back in the fairway. Nikko with a solid play on the elevation in the ground.
Oh, that needs to settle.
That's not that same green disc, is it?
No, that was Andrew's disc.
That was
right? Yeah.
That was Trevor's, I believe. Okay, good. Here's the green disc.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah, that's the one that we put in timeout earlier.
Yeah.
And Trevor's is now down the hill.
Trevor's is now in timeout.
Oh,
great putt.
Yeah, Jacob walks another one in. Look at this hop. Get in there.
There's the confidence from Jacob that I've seen previously. That's a nice putt to hit, especially with the drop off behind the basket like that too.
Believe this is for single bogey.
No way.
Oh man, that's deflating. It didn't roll as bad as it could have.
And now he's pinned up so far against those rocks that it's actually going to be a little bit tougher. He's going to probably take his 11 inches back behind his lie and stretch out for a straddle. And he does hit it for the bogey.
I can't count it all. That was for single bogey.
Yes. Great birdie from Nikko. Especially after his drive kind of snuck a little bit too far to the right. He did find himself up there.
Yeah, him and Andrew both had a solid front 9 here. I believe the course record is 8 down total for the 18 holes.
Which is rare. Usually we'll see a lot of courses we play on tour with double digits, course records. But Nikko with a 4 down on pace for that course record. Andrew at 3 down. Trevor with a bit of a tougher front 9. And Jacob at -1, pretty respectable. Make sure you subscribe to GK Pro, and we will catch you for the back 9.